Good day, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. It is Monday, but if you're watching a different day, not a problem. This is Tracy Brown, your somatic dietitian and attuned eating specialist. And this week we are going to be talking about hunger. So there are all kinds of hungers, as you can imagine, and not just kind of emotional hunger or what's psychological or hunger in life, all those kind of things. But actually, what's going on biologically sometimes when we are letting go of being a dieter, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the kinds of hunger that you might go through as you stop food restricting. And we're going to be talking about all the kinds of hungers this week. So the metaphorical, the emotional, the mental. But I just want to talk about food, what happens in food deprivation. So, of course, if you're not eating enough food, it's going to take some time for your body to feel like things are safe. I'm going to get enough. We are not in the famine anymore. And so it's really, really common to, at the beginning when you stop restricting, that it really depends on your body, how long you've been through deprivation, how much you've pushed your body below its set point, whatever's been going on, how many years or decades you've been in kind of the ups and downs of eating more, eating less, whatever. So if you're somebody who doesn't identify, like, I've never dieted, I've never overly restricted, you're probably not going to have to go through too much of this like physical drive to eat because you just haven't gotten enough. It's going to feel a little different for you than it is for somebody who's had a lot of restriction ongoing for a while. Even a year of not eating enough food can create like another several months to maybe even a year of like, I just feel hungry and I just ate and why do I feel hungry? So all of those things are really normal. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you. So let's just break it down. So if you have been restricting food, even if you wouldn't consider it like a really, really restrictive phase, if you start eating more food again, you're gonna notice hunger, and it's gonna take a couple weeks to a couple months of like, wow, like I never let myself get this hungry, or I'm getting hungrier more often than I thought it was, and now you're bumping into, oh, that's what gentle hunger is like. When I've been restricting or dieting, I wait till I'm so raging hungry or headachy that's been my signal to eat. It's not that when you start eating more normally that you're eating too much or too often. It's like you're actually starting to eat based on more gentle signals. And those are the kind of signals that don't leave us preoccupied and like mind warped all day long about, am I doing something wrong? It's like, it's good to be a little hungry when we start eating. Only because there's a little bit more prep for our body to digest that better in terms of like enzymes and all that kind of stuff. And it's more motivating. Now, if you've been, so this is somebody who's been dieting, restricting. Now, if you've been like really, really, really restricting for a long time, you can definitely have a backup of hunger. And those of you who are watching this can know who I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm eating this higher than I can ever imagine amount of food, and I'm hungry, and like legit hungry. I want like I can feel it. I need to eat, and it just has been like an hour and a half, 2 hours. What's wrong? Like, again, nothing's wrong. It's just that if you've been on the, okay, I wish you could see my arm, pendulum over here, you're probably going to swing way over here for a little while if you don't fight that. Now, what's the number one thing that most of us do? And I did the same thing, is that we fight this because it scares us. It bumps up against all those old like vows we made to ourselves that we won't eat past a certain amount, and we won't weigh past a certain amount. And now we're bumping up against hunger that our bodies are like, no more, not today. We are not ignoring this anymore, and we're going to eat. And so you're going to feel hungry more often, or it's going to be louder. That doesn't mean it's out of control. And that's really important. It's really, really important that you kind of put on this compassionate stance, this compassionate lens of like, well, why wouldn't I be more hungry if I've spent so many months and years ignoring the actual more gentle hunger. And I know that we don't always ignore it purposely. Sometimes that happens, but the physiologic response is still the same, whether we did it on purpose or not. So there's that. So today, again, was mostly just about physiologic hunger. So there's two things here. So one, if you're not somebody who identifies with, like, I didn't really overly hardcore, I don't feel like restrict, that bigness and loudness of, like, I've got to eat the food, that doesn't feel emotional. We're going to talk about emotional hungers Wednesday, but today is just like this physical hunger that you might be surprised that actual hunger signals is like, like when I say actual, like very intense hunger signals are real, but that's not the same thing as like gentle. And being able to like be hungry but still not it disrupting your life, that's a signal that most of us who wouldn't identify as like I've been extremely restrictive like most of my life, you might not identify with I've got to eat thousands and thousands and thousands of calories just to get back to equilibrium. That may not be you, and that's okay. You're not doing something wrong. It's just that you're coming back to equilibrium might be not quite the big steep curves that other people's might have. So, but it will mean that you might be surprised with like, oh, unless I get really, really, really full, I get hungry more often than I used to get. And that's a surprise. Well, it's because we're used to pushing those signals underground. For those of you who have pushed their bodies below their set point, you are going to have a bigger swing for longer to get back to some equilibrium, and that can take a year at least, sometimes more if we haven't allowed this whole process to finish out. So sometimes it's like we go up here, we kind of get scared, we go back over here. It does this for a while, unless we're like, we have the support we need and the willingness to like, and the ability to tolerate, the feelings and the discomforts of that. And that can take some time. We're all different. There's no judgment, but there's that. And we're not going to talk about like the kind of hungers we have exactly in terms of emotional, remember, and otherwise today, just because it's a whole kind of different conversation about like the kind of foods we're hungry for. Now today we're just talking about the energy and the caloric need that most of us have all underestimated how much we actually need to live physically, mentally, spiritually functional, because diet culture doesn't care about your up-leveling in your life. Diet culture actually, it probably hates your up-leveling in life, your growth, because it's like then you can't be so controlled and numb. So that's not a surprise, right? So you being really fully more embodied means you're going to do some stuff that's going to be positively impactful to your life, your families, the people around you, your spheres of influence. And a big deal is that it's important for you to be willing to, like, I need to feed myself what I'm hungry for, or the amount I need to feel like, okay, I'm done, not like cut it short. And we'll do another week on fullness. I just want to really pare it down and break it down this week. So if anybody has any more questions about the concept of hunger, please let me know. Message me, send me messages here, tag me here if you're in the Intuitive Eating Facebook support group. Tag me over there as well, so we can answer some of those questions. And remember, the clock is ticking to our password protected peaceful eating forum kind of style place we're going to meet, which will also include the Attuned Eating for Attuned Living Academy. That's coming up really soon, a couple weeks. I'm hoping it's all done, and we will have something I had decided to do a couple weeks ago that I haven't announced is that we are going to have each week a Q&A. I am going to have a secret Facebook page for that group, because I can't do the kind of Q&As I want to do on the forum style. But the forum is going to have like any topic around this work, whether it's recovery or any topic you can think of in terms of like weight, food, whatever. We're going to either, if it's not already there yet, and I've got tons of topics ready, but if it's not already there yet, we can create our own. You can like think, oh, this is my little room I want to be in and talk about this thing. And anybody who wants to talk about those things, we can do that. If you don't want to talk about things, you don't have to be. It's almost like I imagine like it's just giant conference center, and there's lots of people, and within that there's all kinds of different rooms that you can peek your head in, like, oh, I want to be part of that meeting. Oh, no, I don't want to do that one right now. I'm going to do that one over here, and you get to pick and choose. And then of course there's going to be monthly content, so I'm really excited about that. And in addition, we're going to have a weekly Facebook Q&A. It's going to be secret, so there's it's only going to be limited to people who are in this forum style member, kind of like community we're going to have. And probably the Q&As will go as long as I can, probably an hour each week though. So it's like you could ask anything you want. I will answer it to whatever depth that I can, or I'll recommend you a different resource if I can't help you with that. So that's what's coming up really soon. I'm real excited, and it'll be like these videos, but I'm hoping a lot more interactive with you all asking questions, but it'll be, private. So that's the goal. All right, so if you have any other questions about hunger, please let me know. We're going to be discussing that real soon. And until next time, so Wednesday's going to be emotional hunger and a little bit more metaphorical hunger. I'm excited about that video. It'll probably be a little bit longer than usual, so hang tight for that. And I'll talk to y'all real soon. Take care.